Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Electric City Sentai Denzicaster here on Geek Carolina, your weekly look into the wonderful world of Tokusatsu. I'm your host, Mike, joined once again by
Joe Gibkins' homeboy, Josh. Woot woot! And as always, I'm glad to be back here on the internet.
So, folks, 2 more episodes of Johnny Sokko and his flying robot, because if you see just the 2 of us, you know what we're watching. So... and must say, these were better.
As the great Jim Ross said, business picked up, Mike.
Yes, it did. So,
boy, howdy did it pick up.
Yes. 2 episodes. Episode 15 and 16. So 15 is Iganog, the iceberg monster. Unicorn suspects that a strange villa standing in the heart of the Japanese Alps, didn't know there were Japanese Alps, is a secret enemy base. And when Iganog, a huge iceberg monster, uses its icy, vapor-releasing horns to freeze giant robot Solid, Unicorn must destroy the base and thaw their mechanical hero in order to combat it. And then episode 16 is Torazon, an enemy robot. Beginning with the Swiss branch, International Unicorn headquarters are mysteriously being destroyed one after another. Rome, Cairo, Bombay, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taipei.
Damn.
Will Tokyo be next? Not if Johnny Sokko and his trusted giant robot have anything to do with it. So, first things first. No Fangar.
Yeah, no. I mean, we actually had 2 completely new generals in these episodes.
We did. So, first impressions of this pair of episodes, Josh.
Well, the first one was just that this general wears a suit of gold plate mail, and it is awesome, or at least as awesome as this show gets.
Goldenok, which I promise you, if you said that to someone, just a random geek with zero context, they would think that you were talking about like a premium release Transformer toy.
Yeah.
This is not the case. Goldenok, Mr. Gold, as he's called in the Japanese version. Interesting character. Not much to him, really, in the episode.
He just shows up and he's like, I have a suit of gold armor, and I've got a monster. Hey.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, he certainly beats the pants off of Fangar, the illegitimate love child of Burgess Meredith and Skeletor.
Yes, at the intersection of Burgess and Skeletor, that's our guy.
Yeah, that's Fangar. But here, much better. The episode in and of itself, I appreciate any episode where they actually show that Giant Robot can wind up in peril.
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, where Iganog basically was able to freeze the robot solid to where it could not move.
And it creates this very interesting role reversal where where essentially the humans have to save the robot. Which usually that doesn't happen. Usually the robot is called just to save our heroes. Well, in this case, they call the robot gets frozen, and now they have to save the robot before the robot can save them. So, I enjoyed that. Again, no real interesting, huge plot to the episode.
Well, I mean, there was one little thing. They find this random mysterious guy up in the mountains that refers to himself as Hunter. And immediately becomes the most interesting guy in the episode because they ask him, are you our enemy? He's like, I am neither friend nor enemy to Unicorn.
Yeah, he is a very interesting character. The actor looked familiar. I tried to find a credit for him somewhere and I couldn't. So I don't know the actor's name that actually plays this character. And the book here doesn't tell me anything either, to be perfectly honest. But he was an interesting character. I did like him a lot. So, I mean, you do have him. And I guess his plot really is the most interesting one in the whole thing. And it's someone who doesn't necessarily like Unicorn for what Unicorn was. Or at least when he worked for them.
I would say that he probably, if he spent more than a day with them, he probably would still not like Unicorn as it is.
Yeah. So there's that. The next episode, which really for me was standout, the better of the two, and I might say it's one of the best episodes of the series thus far, is Torazon, an enemy robot. Now, in Japan, in the original Giant Robo series, this was GR2, the mysterious robot. So, essentially, this is the second giant robo created by the Gargoyle Gang. And it is no longer can it be controlled simply from a wristwatch where only one person can give it orders forever and ever, amen. But we're also introduced to, I think, solidly the number 2 villain general thus far, Dr. Snake.
Yep, Dr. Snake is ferocious. He's crazy, devious, and all kind of creepy.
I like the look. I even like the dubbing for him. Mm-hmm. I thought the character itself was really cool. How many times do you see an enemy general in anything? We're not going to isolate this to Toku. In anything, do you see like the lieutenant, not the big bad, but the big bad's deputy for all intent and purpose? How often do you see them get a gun pulled on them point blank range, and they basically go bitch and grab the gun and start beating the crap out of the guy that pulled the gun on them?
Oh no, yeah, because this is the point where the plot of the episode is that Dr. Snake is able to capture and blackmail a unicorn engineer. Mm-hmm. Named
I don't remember.
Sabota.
Yes, Benny Sabola. And he blackmails him into betraying Unicorn. And at one point, when Sabola gets the upper hand, points on him a gun, you see Dr. like, "Rich!" and just haul off and start raw dogging the guy immediately. Yeah, the whole plot revolves around using a Unicorn radar station to control GR2 or Torazon and remote control, have him attack all these other bases. And they make a point to say very early that he's bigger than Giant Robot. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, when you do see the two side by side, not really, because I get the sense that the Torazon suit is really just an extra giant robo suit with a different head and a little bit of different paint job. There are some new effects in these 2 episodes, most of which are really good. There was one that was horrible, but most of the new effects are actually really well done. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was something they did actually during production or if maybe it was a different film master that Shout Factory got to work from, but the colors popped a little more. Mm-hmm. I really dug. Okay, folks, I'm sorry we got interrupted. My wife came in with some wonderful news she wanted to share with us, and so I forgot where I was. But we're talking about episode 16, Giant Robo 2, Torazon. So if I've repeated it, if I've said any of this before, hopefully I'm editing it out. But the robot itself, the design of it, I think this is where I was.
Yeah.
The design of the robot, it's basically a giant robo suit with a new head. The effects, so they got a lot of new effects in this. Like I said, I don't know if it's a production stock or just a different quality of master or whatnot, but the colors seem to pop more. The only effect I didn't like, I'll say this, is there's one scene where I think it's Jerry goes to take off with his jetpack, and it is very, 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 very obviously a poor figurine.
So this was not a good use of compositing.
No. It's literally, it looks like a figurine on a string. And then you cut to a close-up of the person flying, and then it obviously looks like the person that's flying. But all in all, I really like this episode. Dr. Snake's freaking fantastic.
Oh, he's like, I mean, he's creepy looking. He is intelligent. Also, another thing I loved about this one is he very much establishes that he has been so far one of the most successful generals.
Yes.
Where even before they fight him and take him down, he is responsible for the destruction of the majority of Unicorn's bases worldwide.
Yeah, basically, he destroys 7 Unicorn bases, montage style, before going after Tokyo, and almost succeeds in taking out Tokyo. And in an ironic twist of fate, it is Jerry Mano who helps save the blasted day. Johnny Sokko's is in Tokyo. I'll get my dislikes out of the way, and I think you're probably going to piggyback these. My dislikes, frankly, come out of episode 16, which is the one we like so much. Number one, they kill off Snake.
Yeah, because he is. I was really hoping that he would be like the other ones get about 3 or 4 episodes at least, but no, they gun him down at the end of the episode.
I mean, Dr. Botanist has gotten a small chunk of episodes. Spider got a small chunk of episodes. Harlequin's been in about 3 or 4. Supposedly, when I was looking for credits, I found this on IMDb. Supposedly, poor old Fangar gets 5 episodes total, so we haven't seen the last of Gaptooth, which is not anything against people with gap teeth. I have gap teeth, and I love David Letterman. And then I don't know if Goldeneye gets more than a single episode, and unless they bring Dr. Snake back from the dead. Although they do make a remark, they don't actually destroy Torrazon.
No, it gets away. It burrows into the ground and disappears.
Yeah, it sinks into the earth, and they don't know if it will ever be seen again. I suspect that it pops up again later, because they do like to reuse monsters in shows like this. So, and I'm actually cheating and looking ahead to see if they do bring it back.
And that's one thing I did like about this episode is because it's 2 suit actors in the least constricting suits of the series.
Yeah,
it's refreshing to see a fight where the suit actor as the monster actually gets to go all out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the most complete looking fight scenes of the entire series.
It is. It really is. I think I just saw where our production jump happens. Apparently, when the show originally aired in Japan, it actually jumped time slots midway through the season. So the first 13 episodes aired on Wednesday nights from 7:30 to 8 p.m. But starting with episode 14, which we talked about last week, that's the Flying Jawbone, it moved to Monday nights. And so I wonder if that signals the beginning of a separate production block. And that might explain some of the different effects that we saw. Which I would find very intriguing if that's the case. Because another thing I noticed, and you see some of it with episode 14, a lot of it in 15, and this is something that we haven't given a lot of credit to this show for, but you don't see a lot of it until these latest few episodes. They do a lot of soundstage work. Because if you look at it, a lot of the episode with Hunter, a lot of episode 15, a lot of those scenes where they're running and ducking behind rocks and everything he has a old wooden log cabin hut kind of deal. All of that is soundstage footage. If you look at it,
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Well, the lighting's too good, so it looks. I got a Star Trek vibe off of it, because 60 Star Trek very rarely went on location for things. They were either on a studio backlot for a lot of stuff, or they were on a soundstage. And this looked as good as anything that they did on Star Trek. Probably my favorite Star Trek episode that is isolated to a stage is probably the Squire of Gothos, where he's running through a forest and fighting Q's ancestor, Tremaine, or Trelane, but Captain Kirk is. And so I like that episode, and a lot of that is on a soundstage. Same thing here, and it looks good. There is one moment, in fact, so you didn't pick up on it, that a lot of it was soundstage?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, that's to their credit, because in 15, they go from soundstage to, you can see a shift in lighting, and it's obvious that they're on location for a second. It's when they're out among the rocks and Jerry's bleeding.
Yeah.
Part of that. And then it cuts back to being soundstage footage again.
See, actually, no, I did not pick up on that.
Okay, so there you go, because it just, the quality was that good. So, I was highly impressed. More of these, please.
Yeah, I really hope that they increase in quality from these two from this point out. No backsliding to episode 13 and 14.
No backsliding to Fangar.
No. What I didn't like, I mean, really, I liked this episode a lot. There was a brand new armament that a giant robot used for his time, the V missile, where the V in his chest shoots out like rockets, like a batarang. That looked ghetto as crap. That did not look good.
Did it look better or worse than their new sidearm that they used like twice in the episode?
Oh, the ray gun?
Yeah, well, basically they have like a stun gun, and it looks like a big plastic sci-fi ray gun.
I look at it, I'm like, about the same.
Yeah, okay.
About the same. I did not really care for either. So
there's a part of me that wonders, did they run into some censorship stuff around this time where they were like, maybe we shouldn't have a 12-year-old walk around with a handgun, even though he walks around with a handgun by the end of the episode.
And also there's a part in episode 16 where one of the random unicorn agents just does a magnificent Captain Kirk somersault.
I don't think, was that one of the random ones, or was that Mono?
That might have been Mono that did the Captain Kirk somersault.
So, I think it was Mono. So, all in all, these two episodes were really good. We agree, we both really enjoyed these two. So, the next time it's just me and Josh, which may be sooner than you think. We're going to be on episode 17 and 18, which episode 17 is Destroy the Dam. So, it sounds like we're actually going to get a plot where they're trying to do some damage again. Or in Japan, the episode in Giant Robo was called Destroy the Akafuji Dam. So, same thing. And it will feature the return of a monster. So, from here on in, I think we're actually recycling some monsters. And then in episode, because it will feature the return of Gargoyle Vine, aka Satan Rose 2, as was called in Japan. So this is going to be a revisit of the
Botanist's joint.
Yeah, from Botanist's first episode, actually. The Gargoyle Vine was back in episode 3. And then episode 18 is X7, A Mysterious Enemy Agent, which is basically the same title in Giant Robo, which will feature the Giant Claw, or Gengar 2. So we're going to get the giant hand again.
So we're actually getting into some monster recycling in the next two.
So that's the monster. That's Gengar from episode 5. The Giant Claw.
Botanist seems to be the one that reuses the monsters more than any other general.
Yeah.
But then again, he takes them, he retools them, he upgrades them. And
like they're actually referred to here as Satan Rose Mark II and Gengar Mark II. So hopefully there'll actually be some cosmetic upgrades too. But this will take us back to the transparent medal of QQV. Remember, ask for it by name. But I don't think that actually has anything to do with the episode. That's just the episode that the big claw first showed up in. So that's the next two, and just so for those of you playing the home game with us, we only have 10 episodes left.
Holy crap.
So there are only 5 more times when me and Josh be with you to talk about Johnny Sokko and his flying robot. And then after that, we have discussed among ourselves, and we are going to be looking in on the Emissary of Hell.
Yeah!
We're going to be watching Toei's Spider-Man when we're done with this one. So another off-the-beaten-path tokusatsu show. Well, I'll ask this, because I may have to try and track down a different version of it. Do we want to watch that, or do we want to knock out like something like Zubat? Because we've never watched all of Zubat.
I wouldn't be opposed to Zubat. I mean, if you can find another source of Spider-Man before we finish this, then sure.
Well, I mean, if we do Spider-Man, we're going to be watching it on the laptop screen at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm all right with that.
Okay. Or I'll tell you what, let's do this. There are people out there watching this.
Yeah.
So you tell us. Josh and I, as you guys can tell, when it's just the two of us, we try not to watch Live Man or Sailor Moon because there are other folks who have very vested interest in those shows and watching them with us. And especially Live Man, because if Will's not here to bitch about the Biomotion Buster, it really just isn't worth it to us.
Live Man, yeah.
Yeah, it's not Live Man. So Which, by the way, check out the new hashtag FYBMB, F Your Bio Motion Buster t-shirt over on our Cafe Press store, cafepress.com/geekcarolina. Let us know in the comments below. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it the thumbs down. Just let us know why. But also tell us in the comments below, when it's just me and Josh, what should we be watching? Should we watch Kaiketsu Zubat next? Which features one of the most celebrated... I feel terribly ashamed because I forgot his name, and he's my favorite Kamen Rider. He played Kamen Rider V3. He was Big One. Not Hiroshi Fujioka. It's Hiroshi. Just lost my Toku card. But anyway, that, or do we watch Toei's Spider-Man? Which we might watch. If we do that, we may do more than 2 episodes at a time, because that's like a 50-episode series.
Yeah.
So, folks, hope you've enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Share, like, subscribe, all those things you do. Hit the subscribe button to get a chance. Go over to our store, cafepress.com/geekcarolina, of course, and pick yourself up some merch. Don't forget to check out this guy and his crew over on Chopsaki Cinema on Wednesdays here on the channel.
That's right. 2 guys, 3 studios, and no shame.
Pretty much. If they'll watch Fist of the North Star, they'll watch anything. And if that episode hasn't aired yet, don't worry, it will. We've got it in the can already. So, folks, until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Josh.
And we'll see you next time on Denzicaster.